Brianna Turner has signed with the Indiana Fever per the WNBA transition page. Some depth for the Fever front court. She played for, again, I believe she played for Chicago.
Angel Reese isn't handling this one well. The second Brianna Turner turned down the Chicago Sky and chose to team up with Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever instead, you could already tell Reese wasn't happy. And of course, she made sure the world knew it. "Oh, so this is what we're doing now," she said, trying to play it off like a joke. But that little smirk and side-eye, yeah, it gave her away instantly. You could practically hear the bitterness in her voice. Looks like loyalty has an expiration date, just like spoiled milk. Classic Angel, always making a moment out of everything. But behind the laughs, you know that one stung. And WNBA Twitter, oh, they ate it up like free popcorn at a game.
You don't get told no. Like, you're going to get the yeses. You're going to get more yeses than nos, and just being able to know that. So I'm excited for that. I know that's going to come soon.
This wasn't just any free agent making a move. This was Brianna Turner, an all-WNBA defensive first-team talent, a seasoned vet who could have been the steadying force Chicago desperately needed. Instead, she chose Indiana. And not just that, she took a pay cut to do it. Chicago had the cap space to offer her more, but she still ran straight to the Fever, making it crystal clear where she wanted to be. Now imagine being Angel Reese, trying to convince everyone you're the future of the league, only to watch players you need, players who could help you win, decide they'd rather play alongside your so-called rival instead. Yeah, that one stings. And let's be real, there is no rivalry. That's just something Reese made up in her head.
NBA free agency is officially underway, Annie. So when you see these names and the options that the Sky have, what do you think that they're cooking up?
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because Angel and Camilla are very interesting pieces. And when you're talking about, you know, getting the right players in here, there is intrigue when you have young core pieces like that, because you could be part of developing them and developing towards a title contending season. But the reality is the Sky are still very far from that. And so this year, the focus really has to be on getting players in who are going to bridge that gap between this season and...
Reese tried to play it cool with her usual social media act, but the frustration was impossible to hide. Wow, just wow. Short, simple. But we all knew exactly what that meant. Translation? She was heated. And honestly, can you even blame her? First, Aja Wilson had to sit back and watch the Fever build what's starting to look like an Avengers-level squad, and now Angel Reese is facing the same reality. It's almost comical at this point. Every top-tier free agent took one look at Chicago, then glanced over at Indiana and said, "Yeah, I'm good. I'll go hoop with Caitlin."
So, in a kind of a surprising turn of events, the Indiana Fever have made yet another move this offseason, and they have signed Bree Turner to the roster.
Meanwhile, over in Indiana, nothing but celebration. Brianna Turner was welcomed with open arms, and Aaliyah Boston, cool as ever, kept it short and sweet. Let's hoop. Simple, yet loaded with the confidence of a team that knows exactly what they're building, and you just know Sophie Cunningham was somewhere grinning from ear to ear, already imagining the first time she gets to clap back at Angel Reese after a hard foul. This Fever squad isn't just stacking talent. They're building chemistry before they've even stepped on the court.
These are the pieces that Stephanie White and Amber Cox is going after. They're going after ready elite talent, kind of, you know, they know their responsibility. They know what they need to do. You know what I'm saying? They don't really have to do a whole lot of coaching like that, teaching plug-and-play pieces, and women that are going to come in and make immediate impact. That's what you want to see from this basketball team. That's what you see from elite teams across the league.
But here's the thing. This isn't just about one player choosing a team. This is a shift. The WNBA isn't just growing. It's turning into a full-blown spectacle. Players are starting to realize Indiana is the place to be. And for Angel Reese, this has to feel like a nightmare, because while she's out here hyping up Chicago as the next big thing, her teammates and the players she needs by her side are sending a different message. Nah, we're good.
So, lads, this is not great news, you know, for the Chicago Sky, who are a team that obviously, look, they're rebuilding. This is a team that is 100% rebuilding. The problem is they don't own their pick. So if the Chicago Sky run it back, they're probably not making the playoffs next year. Look, I think there's going to be an improvement from Angel Reese. I think it's going to be an improvement from Cardoso. But that team with no Kennedy Carter, it's going to be real tough to get any offensive.
The offseason isn't even finished yet, and it already feels like the Indiana Fever won free agency. At this point, Angel Reese might need to start playing recruiter, but there's just one problem. All the stars are already off the board. Social media was ruthless with the hot takes. Y'all can keep Angel Reese and her missed layups. We got Caitlin Clark. No sugarcoating, just straight disrespect, and honestly, it was kind of deserved. Because what was Chicago's response supposed to be? Their free agency tracker looked more like a missing persons report. Marina Mabrey left mid-season. Kennedy Carter, not re-signed. Diamond DeShields chose Connecticut's rec gym over Chicago. Now it's just Reese and Camila Cardoso holding down what's left of the starting lineup. Meanwhile, Sky fans were scrolling through their phones like, wait, who did we sign? Anybody? While teams like New York were stacking superstars and Las Vegas was holding onto their dynasty core, Chicago was out here looking like they were putting together a junior varsity squad.
It is funny that all these people who hated the Indiana Fever last year is finally coming around to sign with the team. Go figure. Now, I don't know the whole initial thing about this signing, maybe for depth, defensive purposes, but it is funny to see how what a year make when the Indiana Fever is one of the, not one, but is the top team.
The struggle was real. Every time Fever fans dropped a lineup graphic, Sky fans had to log off just to protect their sanity. Because seriously, what could they even say? Trust the process? That might work on NBA Twitter, but this is the WNBA. You either build the right way or you get left behind. And right now, Chicago wasn't just falling behind, they were getting lapped.
Indiana Fever are officially title contenders. Every day they have something new for us in free agency. And today, it's Miss Wnba Bonner. 6-time WNBA All-Star and WNBA champ, a veteran in this game, can pretty much do it all, also an enforcer, nasty defense. Should I continue? We have a new starting five. Caitlin at the 1, Kelsey at the 2, Wnba at the 3, Natasha Howard at the 4, and Aaliyah Boston at the...
Of course, Angel Reese wasn't about to let her pride take a hit without putting up a fight. She jumped right into her underdog speech, the same one we've all heard before. "I thrive when people doubt me," she said. And hey, maybe she does. Maybe she'll hit the court next season ready to bulldoze every defender in sight. But let's be real, thriving off doubt is great for an individual player. Basketball, that's a team game. And right now, Chicago's looking one rolled ankle away from a full-blown crisis.
Is Angel Reese, did she just run a coach out of town, and is she running a player out of town? Their best shooter out of town? Because Kennedy Carter looks like she's ready to book it out of Chicago.
While Angel Reese is focused on proving people wrong, Indiana is out here making moves like they've got a personal vendetta against the whole league. Fever GM Lynn Dunn and head coach Christy Sides didn't just see potential in Caitlin Clark. They saw a championship window wide open, and they're charging through it full speed. No more "we're rebuilding," no more "just give it time." This team is built to win now, and every single move they made this offseason proves it.
What Steph White is doing and what the Fever organization is doing is nothing less than phenomenal, in my opinion. They are taking this young, talented core that they have, you know, with Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark, and they're adding veteran players that Stephanie White has already worked with. Let's talk about that too, and has chemistry with and knows the work ethic of. And they are building this super team, make no mistake about it, that is going to give you instant results.
Natasha Howard isn't just a veteran, she's a champion, a defensive powerhouse who can still put up 20 points on any given night. Wnba Bonner, she's a walking bucket, a battle-tested leader who thrives under pressure. Brianna Turner locks down the paint, making sure opponents don't get anything easy inside. And Sophie Cunningham, she's bringing the grit, the shooting, and the attitude. Exactly the type of player you need when the playoffs get physical. Even Sydney Colson, more than just energy and jokes, is a steady veteran guard who knows how to control the pace and keep things under control when the game gets chaotic. The best part? They pulled all of this off without breaking up their Fab Four: Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, and Lexi Hall. This isn't just a team, it's a well-built army. They've got leadership, defense, scoring, depth, and most importantly, chemistry. Caitlin Clark doesn't have to carry the load alone. She's got a squad that's ready to handle business.
Breaking news came down, so we have to discuss it. This is what we do here. We're talking about the Indiana Fever making yet another move, Alicia, because they're Thanos right now and they're collecting all the Infinity Stones.
And let's not forget about Aaliyah Boston. While everyone's locked in on Caitlin Clark, people seem to forget that Boston is already an all-star and one of the most dominant young bigs in the league. Now pair her with Brianna Turner and Natasha Howard in the front court, that's a defensive wall. Good luck trying to get anything easy in the paint. With Wnba Bonner and Sophie Cunningham in the mix, Kelsey Mitchell and Lexi Hull are going to have way more open shots on offense. Stephanie White knows exactly what she's doing. She's not just stacking talent, she's building a team that fits. Every player on this roster complements Caitlin Clark. They space the floor, defend, and move without the ball, everything Caitlin needs to thrive. And let's be real, if teams thought trapping Clark at half court was tough last season, wait until they see what's coming. Now she'll have Mitchell or Bonner cutting back door, Hull or Cunningham stretching the floor, and Boston, Turner, or Howard punishing defenders inside. Good luck stopping that.
Sydney Colson is a two-time WNBA champion, a true vet, an amazing backup point guard. And anytime that CC or any of the guards need to go to the bench, Sydney Colson always makes the right call, always makes the right decision. So to pick up a vet, a professional like Sydney Colson, and then you also have a vet like Wnba Bonner, and you also have a vet like Kelsey Mitchell, and then you have CC and Aaliyah Boston and Lex.
The rest of the WNBA thought they had time. Thought Indiana would need a season or two to figure things out. Wrong. The Fever just smashed the fast-forward button on their rebuild. They're not waiting around, they're coming now. And for teams like Chicago, that's a scary thought. Because if this squad meshes the way it looks on paper, they're not just making the playoffs, they're making a run.
Just trying to give myself some grace because I know I'm not the player that I want to be just yet, but also kind of patting myself on the back, telling myself that I'm still doing.
Angel Reese can preach about having an underdog mentality all day, but that won't win games when Caitlin Clark is pulling up from the logo and Aaliyah Boston is swatting shots into the third row. Chicago might think they can figure things out as they go, but Indiana isn't leaving anything to chance. They've built a team ready to win from day one. And that's what's really eating at Angel Reese. It's not just about Brianna Turner leaving. It's the realization that Indiana is everything Chicago wishes they were. A talented young core, respected veterans, and a front office actually making smart moves. The Fever are setting the standard while the Sky are just hoping Angel Reese's words can keep them relevant.
According to league sources, Weatherspoon had lost the locker room because of a culture that catered to the needs of a few players. Dear Lord.
Let's be real. Once Stephanie White took over, this officially became Caitlin Clark's team. No more tiptoeing around it, no more let's ease her in nonsense. This isn't a slow development project. Clark is getting the ball, the keys, and the green light from day one. White knows exactly what she has. A once-in-a-generation talent already changing the league. And instead of wasting time figuring things out, she's making sure Caitlin has everything she needs to dominate the WNBA. That's the difference between Indiana and teams like Chicago, who are still out here convincing themselves that Angel Reese's hustle plays are enough to save them.
Throughout the year, WNBA players were demanding to be given credit for elevating the league. Angel Reese claimed that she, along with their pretend friends in the mainstream media, they wanted us to believe that the WNBA was exploding in popularity. They wanted to keep all the credit for themselves while downplaying the impact of the only star in the league, Caitlin Clark.
Meanwhile, the rest of the league, yeah, they're feeling the pressure. Aja Wilson could sense the shift the moment Indiana started treating free agency like a full-scale takeover. While Aces fans are busy dreaming about a three-peat, Wilson is realizing her dynasty might be under threat. Chelsea Gray is still working her way back from injury, Kelsey Plum packed her bags for Los Angeles, and now even Sydney Colson, the heart of the Aces locker room, is rocking an Indiana jersey. Half the squad has jumped ship, and suddenly the once untouchable super team is looking a little thin, while the Fever just keeps stacking talent.
Experience at all playing in playoff games. I don't know what the exact number was, but we really lacked in that area. So just adding pieces of, players that have been in this league, they know what it takes to win. They know what it takes to get to the finals. They know what it takes to win championships. I think it's exactly what we needed in our locker room. So it's just exciting, but also they're not only really good basketball players, they're really great leaders and really great people. And I know the front office obviously really prioritized that and looking for the pieces that we wanted to add. So really thankful for that.
Fever fans, they're thriving. After years of rebuilding and settling for moral victories, the wait is over. Now they're talking big, not just about making the playoffs, but chasing a championship. And the craziest part, they might be right. This squad has depth, defense, shooting, veteran leadership, and a rising superstar leading the charge. This isn't some feel-good underdog story, this is a takeover. Caitlin Clark didn't come here just to compete, she came to win. And Fever fans, they know it. Aces fans, though, they're stressing. Their MVP, Aja Wilson, probably checked her phone, saw Brianna Turner heading to Indiana, and just sighed, not again. Sure, Jackie Young is still there, and Chelsea Gray is working her way back, but Vegas is starting to feel real empty. That unstoppable super team energy, it's starting to fade. And while Aces fans keep reliving highlights from 2022, Fever fans are looking straight at 2025 because this roster, it's built for now and built for the future.
For all Aces fans, it's over. It's over. It's over. The reign of the Aces is over. I understand the shortest dynasty in the history of the sport of basketball. You know, I've never heard of a dynasty that won 2 championships and then was done, because you're seeing all the ring-chasing free agents getting out of Vegas.
Sky fans, they're still in denial. We still got Angel Reese, they say. Okay. And what did that do for you last season? Exactly. Reese can post all the grind mode Instagram captions she wants, but hard work doesn't fix a weak roster. That's just reality. And while Sky fans keep telling themselves that patience is the answer, Fever fans are asking a completely different question. Who's stopping Caitlin Clark when we drop 100 on y'all when I sock out? But the funniest part of all this? Cheryl Swoops. Remember when she said nobody wanted to play in Indiana? Yeah, about that.
Fever, we're like, y'all.
That's not my point. There's a lot of other shit going on that players are like, this ain't where I want to be.
Over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some new shit going on around there.
It's a lot. Yeah. So you have players that are very significant on this Indiana Fever team that are like, I don't want to be here. This is where I want to be.
That take aged worse than expired milk, because at this point, the Fever's front office is proving Cheryl Swoops all the way wrong. Nobody wants to play in Indiana? Then why does it look like half the league just packed their bags for Indianapolis? At this point, Cheryl might need to hit us with a my bad statement, because that take, yeah, it's sitting right next to Skip Bayless's worst moments. And let's be real, this isn't even over yet. The season hasn't started, and the WNBA thought they had time to adjust to the Caitlin Clark effect. But Indiana, they weren't waiting. They skipped the rebuild and went straight to championship mode. They saw double C and said, forget patience, we're winning now.
Some pieces.
Yes, we are. We're definitely in a position, and I would think that if you are a smart basketball player and you watch the way she plays, you would want to play with her.
The rest of the league, they're in panic mode. Chicago is out here hoping for a miracle, Vegas is holding emergency meetings, and New York, they're just trying to keep their stars happy. Meanwhile, Indiana, they're busy stacking their roster like a championship deck. This isn't some feel-good underdog story. This is an empire in the making, and it's being built around Caitlin Clark. So yeah, Angel Reese can keep posting her motivational captions about proving doubters wrong, but while she's doing that, Caitlin Clark is in the gym knocking down shots. And Stephanie White, she's drawing up plays that just might break the league. Because here's the truth. While the rest of the WNBA is trying to catch up, Indiana is already 10 steps ahead, and if you thought this offseason was wild, just wait until the Fever hit the court. That's when the real fun begins. Are you hyped? Let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we'll see you in the next one.